Rock by Bobby Helms. Yeah, today I wanted to do a quick review of the chord shapes that we need to know, our progressions, obviously, and then our rhythm. Just quick review. Then we'll do a run through, and then we'll get into some of the more tricky stuff. The riff that we had for the intro, and then we'll talk about how to change it to make it the riff for the ending. Cool? All right, let's start with the rhythm. Super simple. I think everybody's got it at this point. Sounds like 1, 1, 2, oh, sorry. I'm thinking in different terms here. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember with a swung feel. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna open the strings. And remember, for the verse, what we're going to be doing is changing halfway through that rotation, right? So it's chord, switch, chord, switch, right? Exactly like that. All right, let's go over our chord shapes. We need a D, 2, 2, 2, 0, F sharp minor, 2, 1, 2, 0. And remember, our B minor chord is just that D shape, but we shift down one floor in the building. So we have 0, 3, 0, 2, 2, and 2. There is our B minor, right? And then next chord we need is E minor and B7. And remember, these are little chord twins. That's a nice part about this tune, is that we actually have kind of two places where we see this chord twin idea, which is like chords that are basically the same shape. They feel the same way to hold, but they're in different positions on the ukulele, right? So the first one is the D and the B minor. And then there's the B minor, right? So we've got 2, 2, 2, and 0. And then we've got 0, 2, 2, and 2. So those are the first set of chord twins. And it's really helpful, especially if you're forgetting one or the other. It can be helpful to remember in the context of that other tune, or that other chord. So 0, 4, 3, and 2, this is our E minor chord, and our companion chord to this, or our chord twin of this, is the B7, right? So if we just hop this shape up, just kind of take one floor up on the elevator to the G, C, and E strings versus the C, E, and A strings, right? So remember, chord twins are a powerful concept. They help because it's kind of a 2-for-1, right? You get one chord shape, and if you just sort of shift that shape, keep your fingers in the same grouping or the same ordering, then you get kind of a twofer, right? You get that second chord for free. So don't forget about the power of thinking about those chord shapes in connection, rather than just, oh, it's a whole nother chord shape that I need to know how to play. Okay, cool. Now that we've got the right hand and the left, let's talk a little bit about our progressions. I'm going to go and pull the song sheet up here. Remember this big chunk, super important to, oh, sorry, I've got the wrong pointer on. This chunk here, super important to remember that this is going to be repeated a lot in this tune, this D, F sharp, B minor, and F sharp minor. So of any of the connective, or of any of the progressions, that one you should really have in your fingers, be able to really have that mapped out, because you're going to replace it, you know, every rotation of the verse at least one. I mean, you're going to play it every rotation of the verse at least once. And then depending on where you are, whether or not you're in verse 1 or 2 or 3, you're going to have different endings or different ways that you change that. Cool? So we've got D, we've got F sharp minor, B minor, F sharp minor. Let's go ahead and do that in, let's do it in half notes, right? So we count 1, 2, and then switch chords. 1, 2, ready, D. 2, F sharp, B minor, F sharp minor. All right, so our next little set here is going to be B minor to B7. Now this can be a really tricky switch because we don't really get that chord twin emphasis until we get here to A minor. To E minor, right? So make sure that you can kind of feel that little switch from B minor into this new shape, 4, 3, and 2. And one thing I want to point out is just make sure that you can really kind of tell, you know, distance down the fretboard by paying attention to what my thumb does. So if I'm here and And do you see how all my fingers are kind of centered around this second fret? But really my thumb is really somewhere inside of the first fret. When I switch into this B chord, you'll notice that I'm a little further down. Do you see how here my thumb is kind of centered around the second fret? So that means that I made a shift downhill on the fretboard. So if you watch, this is almost like I'm in a second position, because especially take a note of my pointer finger. See how normally when I play chords, my pointer finger is lined up over the first fret. Here in this E minor and this B7, it's chord twin. You can notice that all of my fingers are kind of shifted down by one fret, right? My ring is playing 4, middle's playing 2, pointer's playing 1, when usually they're sort of set up here. So be sure that when you're making this switch that you feel that little adjustment in position on the fretboard, right? The back of my hand is sort of sliding up the fretboard just a little bit, 1 fret versus, right? So we got B minor 7, we got switch here. Cool. Let's try some whole notes moving between all of those chords. B minor 7 to B7 to E minor. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking in 4. 1, 2, ready. I was thinking in 3, sorry. 1, 2, ready, B minor, 1, 2, and ready, switch. There's our B7, and then we just drop it down for our E minor, right? And back to the B minor 7, 2, and ready, switch, 2, 2, and ready, drop it down to that E minor. Last time, here we go. 2, and ready, 4, 3, 2, 2, and ready, drop it down. 4, 3, 2 on a string set lower, right? Okay, cool. Remember, all of these transformations, you really want to pay attention to how my hands move. What are the connective kind of points inside of those chords? Do they have anything that's shared, right? That idea of chord twins is actually a really powerful one, because every fret is shared between all of those chords. You're just sort of shifting them by strings. And so if you can memorize that and teach yourself how to release that chord shape and transfer it without really degrading the way the short shape feels, right? You don't want to take that chord shape off and your whole hand kind of, resets, and then you've got to get all those fingers back in the shape before you press its chord twin. Really try and think about lifting that chord shape, trying to keep the integrity of the shape, and just move it, right? This is a really, really powerful concept, especially when you're struggling with chord changes at the beginning, especially those 3 and 4 finger chords that we're going to learn as we get a little bit more developed on the instrument. Cool. Let's get back to this page, and we'll take a look at progressions. So we've got this B minor, B7 to E minor and A, and that sets us up for a pretty easy thing to remember, just back and forth between E minor and A. And then last is our different endings, right? So for verse 1, we've got E7 to A. And for our second ending, we've got E7 to A to D to D7, which takes us into the bridge. Oh yeah, I didn't go over this in the chord shape. We've got D, and here's our D7, which you can do with these 2 fingers, or you can just lift the middle finger to get that chord shape, right? And then the last chord shape that I didn't go over was E7, 1, 2, 0, 2, and then G minor. Cool? So let's just do a quick run through of all our chord shapes. That's really what I wanted to finish before we got into this part, but yeah, we'll just pick it up from there. Cool. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, show me D, 1, 2, and ready, show me D7, 2, and ready, show me F sharp minor, 2, 3, 4, show me B minor, 2, and ready, show me B7, 4, 3, 2, 0. Drop this chord down, find its twin. Good. Show me A. Show me E7, 1, 2, 0, 2, 2, and then show me G. And then our last chord, G minor, 0, 2, 3, and 1. Like I was saying in week 1, and I think I might have echoed this in week 2, lots of chord shapes to know, but remember, if you can kind of harness the power of those chord twins, it can help you sort of reduce the number of shapes that you actually need to know. And then, just remember, all of these things take frequent exposure before we're really feeling our muscle memory kick in, right? So try and spend as much time with them. Try and think like, if I can transfer in and out of all these chords that I struggle with enough times, then they'll become as easy as any chord shape that I've already mastered, right? Like think about how it feels to move from a C chord to an A minor chord. Those are two chords that you might have a little more in your fingers. So any chord shape that you practice enough times can feel as easy or as effortless as that one does. Okay. Let's get into, let's just go through it, shall we? Little quick guy here. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Let's do it without the rhythm for now. Let's just do half notes. 1, 2, ready. Half notes. Jingle bell, F sharp minor. It's chord twin B minor, right? Chord twin to the D, and then F sharp minor. 2, and then B minor. Now let's jump to that B7. Remember to shift up the fretboard. 4, 3, 2, 0. And then let's find its chord twin E minor. And then shift down to A. E minor to A. E minor to A. And jingle bell square. E7. 1, 2, 0, 2. Now the jingle rock to A has begun. And we jump back to our second ending for verse 2. Here we go. Jingle horse, dun, 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 pick up your feet. Nice. B minor to B7. And E minor. And then to A. And then we just sort of loop that chord transition. E minor to A. E minor to A. Second ending, E7, A, D, D7. In the frosty air to D7, here we go. What a G, bright time. G minor, 0, 2, 3, and 1. Time, D, to rock the night. D7, away, good. And jingle bell time, it's a swell time, A, to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Here we go to our last verse. Giddy up, jingle horse, B minor, pick up your feet, F sharp minor. Here we go, B minor, but back to F sharp minor. 2 measures of B7. And now, mini bridge here. Jigs and jingle, G minor, and jingle and B. Here we go, E minor to A. That's the jingle bell rock. And I think last week we talked a little bit about on whenever you're going to end this tune, you're going to tag that E minor to A, and then play it. And then one more. Cool. So that's the tune. Let's see if we can rotate kind of verse 1, verse 2, bridge into verse 3. But we'll only do that first half of the tune just for time's sake. And we'll try it with the rhythm. Yeah? 1, 2. Actually, let's go back to, let's go back to here. I'll try and get as much of this in the frame as I can. Here we go. 1, 2. Let's put, can I move this toolbar? That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, I can. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, verse, let's go here actually, since we're going to do just verse 1 to verse 3. 1, 2, and ready, here we go. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle. All right, let's try that one more time. Sorry about that. I got a little distracted by something. 1, 2, and ready from the verse. D to F sharp minor, go bell, jingle, B minor, back to F sharp, rock, B minor to B7, jingle bells ring, E minor to A, jingle bells ring, good, E minor to A, snowing and blowing, oh, bushels of fun, nice, and first ending E7, now the jingle hop to A, begun, good, D, F sharp, giddy, jingle bell, B minor, jingle bell rock, good, jingle, B7, prancing, E minor to A, prancing in Jingle Bell Square. You ready? Second ending, E7 in A, frosty, D to D7. Beautiful. And then we go to our bridge. What a G, bright time. It's the right time. And then we go to rock to the D, the night to D7. Away, good. And jingle E7, bell time. It's a swell time, good. And A to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh. Beautiful. Verse 3. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Remember, B minor, F sharp minor. Go around. B7, the clock. And we go G. Mix and mingle. G minor. Jingle and feet. Good. And then that's the Jingle Bell Rock. Nicely done. All right, cool. Remember, if any of those progressions are still feeling a little tricky for you, try and think repetition. Memorize these in your mind so that you can kind of recite the progressions for yourself, but also memorize them in your fingers. Know how it feels to move between those chord shapes. It's starting to become smooth, a little more consistent, and most importantly, can you connect that with the sound that you're expecting, right? A lot of times once you start to learn how to sing this along with the chord progressions, it's almost like the melody can guide you into the next section. And you can definitely tell when you're playing the wrong chord, right? When you move to the next thing, it doesn't quite sound right with the melody. So, okay, cool. How much time do we have? I want to do a quick review on our riff and then get into what we do for the second version of the riff, which we're going to use to close it. It's pretty much the same, similar kind of vocal phrase. It's just ends a little bit shorter, and there are one or two things that are a little bit different about it. Cool. So let's review. We're going to play 2 and 2 on the C and E strings, and we're going to do what's called a 2-finger pinch, right? We're going to play the thumb on our C string. We're going to use our pointer finger on the E string, and we're just going to play that together. See how I did that? I pinched those 2 strings together. 2, 2, 2. Now I'm going to lift my middle finger, put my pointer finger down to the 1st fret, and I'm going to play those 2 strings together. Same rhythm again. Now, next move, I'm going to go back to the 2nd fret on the C string. I'm going to pinch, and then I'm going to play the open A string. And from here, I'm just playing single note melody. I'm going to go 5, 7, 5, and then 8, 7, 5. Now I slide down to 2, and then play the open A string. Cool. Let's give that a try. Nice and slow. 2, 3. We do the pinch. Here we go. Pinch. Slide the pointer finger to 1st fret. Bring it back up and play the open A string. Now watch. I go up to 5. Walk up to 8. Back down to 5. Down to 2. And then open. And remember, there's a little tail on this. We wait. Shh. This is when the jingle bells are happening. And then you play 0, 3. 2 and 0 in that cadence. That little descending bass line before we're into the verse. Cool. Nice and slow. 2, 3, 4. We go. Pinch. 1st fret. Back up. Play the open A. 5, 7, 8, 7, 5. Down to 2 and 0. 2, 3, 4. Now we wait 1 count. 1. Ba-doo. Bump. 2. Last time. Here we go. Intro. 1st fret. Back up. 2, 0. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Ba-doop, bump, bum, and jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Just like that. Cool. So that is our little intro riff. Now, when we play it the second time around, which is our outro kind of our outro riff, it's gonna. Let me just double check that this is actually in the beginner's arrangement. Go here. Slice. Just want to make sure I'm teaching the right thing here. beginner. Did I put it? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So for our outro, we're actually doing something really similar, right? We're playing this. Just like that. Yeah, so it's a little blues turnaround kind of move. And I want you to know that it's actually easier or simpler to play than the intro riff. It's not as long. So what we're going to do is now we're just going to stay on 2 and 2. So that same thing. We're going to go pinch, pinch, pinch. We're basically going to repeat that, but we're going to add the open A note. So it sounds like this. Pinch, 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 A. Right? All of those eighth notes. 1, 2, like that. Pinch, 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 A string. Now from here, it's just straightforward melody. We play 1, 0, 2, and then we're going to finish here, right? So now this is a bar chord. I'm going to bar across the bottom to the top 3 strings here, and I'm going to put my pinky on 5. Cool. So now, if this is your first time playing bar chords, don't stress too much. What you're really looking for is to be able to play the 2nd fret all the way down the strings with 1 finger, right? That's the idea. Now, one thing that you want to note is that my hand position shifts a little. Instead of this open grip where my thumb is kind of flagging here, I'm just going to pull back a little and see how my thumb kind of disappears. And now what I'm using is a different part of my thumb to brace against the back of the neck. Usually what I'm doing is kind of putting the neck right here in the crook between my thumb and my pointer finger. And when I switch to the bar grip, what I'm going to do is slide back so the back of the neck is kind of contacting right here on the heel of the thumb, right? So now that I'm in there, I can use my pointer finger and make sure that that thumb is a little bit more perpendicular, right? What I'm doing is instead of my thumb being behind, like directly behind in line, it's out jogged a little bit. You know, this is a really extreme version. It's more like this, but still what you're doing is trying to create a little bit more of like a tripod feel, right? Like a opening, kind of like more stable situation. All right, so we've got that. We're barring across. We're playing 2, 2, and 2 with 1 finger, and then our pinky plays the 5th fret to finish. Cool. So here's the whole thing, just so you can kind of hear it in the context. Bum 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 bee, bum 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 bum, and then you finish on that chord, right? Boom boom bum 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 bee, bum ba dum bum to finish. All right. Go nice and slow. We do our pinches. Stay on 2. Don't go to 1 this time. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Now here we're going to go pinch, 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 A. Cool. And now it's just melody. 1, 0, 2. And then we finish on our D chord. Cool. 2. Nice and slow. C and E 2nd. Repeat. And add 1, 0, 2. And then we play the chord. Last time 2, 3, 4, and pinch, 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 pinch. A, 1, 0 on the E string, 2 on the C string before resolving to this chord. Cool? Don't stress if that chord feels a little bit unnatural. It's bound to. It's a totally different technique, a totally different grip. But remember, bar chords are an important thing if you want to start to increase your capabilities, if you want to progress, you know, past that beginner kind of stage and getting into intermediate progress. Those labels, they always sound funny to me when I say them because they sound so like, you know, they sound so like putting a container around all of your knowledge or something. But, you know, we need labels in this day and age to assess ourselves and know where we're at. Cool. So if you're looking to push your playing a little bit more, bar chords are really a great way to start to get into more, a little bit more advanced material, a little bit more advanced technique on the ukulele. And most importantly, you know, this is a chord that you can kind of learn at your own leisure. If you don't feel comfortable with that chord, or by the end of the month you're not quite doing it, you can always end on a D chord, which you've been, you know, locking in the last week or two, and it probably feels good in your fingers. So if I play that same thing. See, if I just play a D chord to finish, it's going to achieve the same effect. This is just a little bit of an alternate voicing if you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge. Cool. Thanks so much for joining me. It was nice to see you this week. And yeah, we will see you next week for our last class. And remember, just as far as logistics, that class is going to be pre-recorded. So make sure you're not jumping into live class to to come, because it's not going to happen because it's Christmas. So anyway, happy holidays, folks. It was lovely having y'all, and thanks for your hard work in Uke Lab. All right, take care.